All right. Ooh, and it even warned me. Well, good morning, Ty. Welcome.
Good
Um,
morning.
First, just tell me about you and what you do.
So my name is Tyler Armstrong. I own Briarwood Home Inspections. We're a first responder-owned, family-operated business in the Catonsville, Maryland area. We've been in service now, I'd say for about a year and a half. We've completed over 300 inspections so far in that short amount of time. I'm a certified professional inspector with the International Association of Home Inspectors as well. And we offer home inspections, rental inspections, commercial inspections, radon, termite, and super scope inspections as well.
Wow, lots of stuff available there in your services. I like it. So I just wanted to meet with you today and kind of get some information for any of our people out there that aren't really familiar with what a home inspection entails. So just a few questions I gathered from friends and family that own homes and things they'd want to ask you. So one of the main things, should the buyer of a new home be there for the home inspection?
So yes, I do like to have the buyers with me. Some don't. I do think that home inspectors can concentrate better with no other person present at the inspection. However, in my opinion, I think if you're, doing the inspection, I think you need to be able to juggle that, right? And I think the buyer needs to be there so you can inform them where their water shutoff valves are, where their gas shutoff valves are. In the event that this sink starts leaking, here's how you shut the water off to it. And just, have the client there to be able to tell them in the event that these things happen, this is how we correct.
Okay, well, that's important to know. Very
Are
good.
these dogs too loud?
No, they're okay. We love dogs. So as far as that home inspection goes, on the seller side, do you think that it's helpful for them to have gathered the paperwork for repairs that have been done to the home or any HVAC, anything like that that's happened, receipts and all? Is that important to have?
If we're doing one for the seller,
Yes.
can you repeat the question? I didn't really understand.
Yeah, sure. For on the seller side of a home inspection, if it's being done for the seller, or actually even I guess for the buyer, is it helpful for the seller to gather paperwork like receipts and dates of when things have been done in the house, or is that something you're going to go ahead and uncover anyway?
No, absolutely. And I think like any previous repair records, any maintenance records that you have, I think that's going to protect both sides, right? Like if the seller is selling it and they have a 50-year roof warranty, which a lot of roofers are giving out now, that's a lot of times is transferable to the next buyer. That can improve the value of the transaction between buyer and seller. And also it can show that, it'll give them sort of a one-up, letting the clients know that they took good care of the home. And then they have a track record of contractors in the area that are used to servicing this home and the mechanical equipment inside of it, and it makes for a better stay at the house and better living conditions for sure.
Okay, so it's just added information, helps do your job a little more thoroughly, gives them a more accurate picture, I guess. Good to know. Okay, another thing, what exactly does a home inspection cover for those people that haven't actually been through one or don't really know what's going on with that? What do you guys look at when you come?
Okay, so you froze a little bit, so just making sure.
Sorry.
What is it that we cover entirely?
Yeah, what are you guys looking at when you come to it? Is it everything about the house and the yard, or really what's entailed?
Yeah, so when we arrive, the way that we do it is we look at the house from outside in, top to bottom. So we check the roof. If we can't access it with a ladder because it's too high or too highly pitched, obviously no one wants us tying off and drilling into the roof for a home inspection. We have a drone that we use and we'll take pictures of the roof to make sure that we're seeing all areas of the property and those high chimneys that aren't readily accessible. We check the gutters for debris, appropriate pitch, make sure they're not draining at the foundation wall, check the exterior to make sure there's no areas where any leaking could be coming inside of the house, no areas where we would see foundation problems going through the exterior brick or siding material that would lead us to like a foundation issue. Obviously the exterior foundation, walkways, grading. Then we would go inside, check the attic out, make sure it's insulated properly, make sure it's ventilated properly. Attics commonly carry mold, so we would assess for that. Coming down into the top floor, windows, doors, floors, no plumbing leaks, check all the outlets, all the light fixtures, and going down, check all the appliances in the kitchen, make sure all of our doors are sealed tightly. And then obviously in the basement, it's our major mechanical systems, our shut-offs, and our electric system.
Wow.
So everything inside of the home is checked. We have set standards of what we are allowed to check and to not to check. Here, we kind of take the risk, and if something's not even in the standard operating procedures of Maryland, our SOPs, we will go above that. We don't really care. We take the risk for our clients, and if it's something we have to answer for one day, we'll answer to it. But we like to ensure people's best protection.
So is it state determined mandates, or is it also by like county or area?
State. Yep.
State.
So
Okay.
Maryland state governs what it is that we do and don't inspect, or shouldn't inspect, and all of that's in the bottom of our reports when we send them off to the clients.
Excellent. Is there anything you guys don't inspect?
No, we kind of
Not
check
really.
it all. We look at everything. The only thing right now, well, I shouldn't say that. The only thing that we don't check right now is well and septic systems.
Okay.
We normally refer that out, but we're in the process of getting our NPMA certification to perform septic inspections. We're in the process of getting our well certifications to perform well inspections, so we can be a full service entity, and chimney inspections. But they host a program called the CSIA chimney sweep program, which we'll be attending. I'd say in about 2 years we'll be getting into that.
Okay, wonderful. Another question about the house. What would you guys consider a real deal breaker, like runaway? Is that going to be like foundation issues? Is there anything that you would consider just something that a homeowner doesn't want to deal with?
No, me personally, I don't, right? So I have a little bit of a background in construction. So I view things as this: when I'm asked this question literally every day, is this a deal breaker or not? What I say is, between you and I, what I would normally say in my mind is, I don't know how much money you're willing to spend on this house. I don't know how much you love the house. The value that you see in the home, I may not necessarily see. So I never say something's a deal breaker. So in regards to that, one of the dangers that we do commonly see in a home is like solid aluminum wiring. People get kind of freaked out about that. Polybutylene piping. They get worrisome about that in regards to having to replumb a house, but and gross foundation shifting are issues. But I've had homes where I've gone inside and they've had like massive foundation shifts that are very problematic, and the people still wanted the home. And rather than them throwing out the deal and everything, they just counter offered to the selling agent, and they produced our report. We had a structural engineer come out for the transaction. They advised it's repairable. They still want it. They took an estimate to the sellers, and they just got 50 grand off of the house. So I personally will never ever say like, no, this is a deal breaker. I always put that in the client and the agent's shoes. You know your client better than we do. You know what's best for them. We normally just give you the facts and then let you run with it.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. So things like asbestos, somebody hears that word and they're automatically freaked out. That was one of the questions I had somebody ask me. As far as asbestos goes, is that something you have to have taken out of your house before you sell it? They wanted to know.
What part? I'm sorry.
Asbestos?
No, you don't.
Okay, there you go.
You don't. And the EPA might come down throwing their hammer at me, but you don't. I have asbestos in my house. I have asbestos tile flooring all in my basement. And, asbestos is only dangerous if it's in a dust-like state, right? And one of the repairs that you can do is encapsulation, right? Just go over top it with new flooring. You can certainly do that with the appropriate contractors that are trained to do so. But yeah, homes with asbestos, you can buy. Homes with lead paint, you can buy those as well. I mean, my home is from the 50s. It contains it. A lot of the homes in our service area down in Arbutus, a lot of the single family homes that we service, traditional Catonsville brick row home and Paradise and Academy Heights areas, they all contain it. There's nothing you can do unless if you want to tear out all the lead. But as long as these asbestos and lead, as long as they're not in a dust-like state and you're not directly close breathing it in, you'll be fine.
Okay, so it's not that big of a deal. People shouldn't run away just because of those words.
I would not, no, but
Okay.
I can understand where some would be fearful of it.
Okay. And then I had a kind of specific question from somebody. They wanted to know about dips and sunken areas in the yard and how serious that could be.
Sunken areas in the yard.
Yeah, is
So
that something that they need to hire somebody specifically for, or a landscaper? What do you think about those?
Yeah, so you can always have a landscaper come out, and assess and see why we're having the sunken areas of the yard. But what we would commonly want to assess at that point is a sewer scope inspection.
Okay.
To see that, do we have a break in that lateral sewer line connecting out to the street or the septic tank that's causing an excessive, soil erosion in this area or breakdown, which has given us those dips in the areas. And we've had cases to where we've had roofers who have backed their dump trucks onto the actual lawn while they were tossing shingles off of the roofs. And now we have a large dip in the front yard, but the problem is you have terracotta clay piping underneath of it, which crushes. So anytime that we see any like dipping in the front yard, a lot of times it could be from dogs digging in the yard. It could be from something like just poor lawn care. That's always a possibility. But I think sewer scope inspections to confirm that lateral sewer line isn't busted or leaking, and then also a landscaping contractor. I think that's a good idea. I would agree with that to definitely get that checked out.
Excellent. Thank you. I'll be sure to tell her that. And then what are like the main questions that people ask you that, or main things you think people are confused about that you would want to, mention?
What do they ask? They always ask me, would I buy the house?
Yeah.
And I'll buy any house for the right price. That's what I always say, right? And I think it's up to the client to determine what that number is, and that's far past my level of expertise in this industry. But people always say, would you buy this house? Would you buy the home? And I feel like it's normally like, what's like crazy safety issue that's going to like harm my family. I think that's what it always is. Like I feel for the most part that people when buying a home have a natural understanding that I'm going to have things that I'm going to have to repair. Every single home we go into is going to need repairs. So I think they just want to know, like, would I buy it? And then is it dangerous? Which I'll always tell them, like, I'll buy any house as long as I like it. Anything can be fixed. And, what's dangerous. That's the most part. I get a lot of questions about the polybutylene and aluminum piping, mainly from, the older generations, the boomers that know about it, and went through that era where they've experienced, the tragedies of it. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, I think that is all the questions I had lined up for you. So unless there's anything you feel like needs to be mentioned or said.
No, thank you for doing this.
No, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
I know you're a busy guy, 300 in a year. You're off on inspections almost every day.
We're getting up there. We're getting up there. We're excited. We're curious to see what the year's numbers close out to be, and we want to double them next year. So we're pretty happy with our results from the year.
Excellent. Well, I know that our consumers were happy with your service. So thank you so much.
Good. No problem.
All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Talk soon. See ya. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.